Fly on the wings of love. With your pits. This is the armpit stuff.
The armpit stuff.
My pits are also loose.
My pits are coming.
My snatch is a true monster ball.
Gremlins in your snatch? It's more likely than you think. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Dutch Housewives.
Dutch Housewives.
We're plural again.
I'm back. Lola decided to release me from her dungeon. That witch.
Unfortunately, we had agreed that she wouldn't be able to escape, but here she is.
You can't stop me. No one can. Well, maybe this heat can stop me, okay? Like, maybe between takes we're gonna call Lola again so she can substitute me. Oh, it's so warm here.
Sweating profusely under these lights.
What?
It's not cold enough.
Oh,
there we
go.
Oh, yeah.
We're back.
Leuk, hè?
Ja, leuk.
Ja,
Ja.
nou, gaan we weer. Ik
Ik
gabberen.
ga even doen alsof je het leuk vindt. My look was inspired by Fred's look, okay? Because Fred looked stunning.
No, this look is inspired by the fact that it's her best look, and she wanted to pull it out again. And I was like, well, I've only worn this 5 times on the show, so why not again?
I mean, it's cute.
I love a good cape moment.
Cape, yeah. Cape Blanchett.
So this episode, we're gonna approach things a little differently, because
It's a lot.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Last season, the Snatch Game was the most heavy explainer episode we had to do.
Yeah.
So today we're just gonna do less of a review and more of an explainer video. Like,
Yeah.
welcome to Vox. We're explaining the Netherlands.
This is our TED Talk, yeah.
Yeah. So we're just gonna run through the episode, first the mini challenge and then Snatch Game, go through all the characters that we need to explain for an international audience, and then give a hint of our critiques as well, because we do have opinions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, but this will be a little bit more explainer heavy. So if you are Dutch and you have a lot of friends that watch it that aren't or don't speak Dutch that need extra information, send them this video.
Yeah.
And if you're international, hey,
How are you?
how are you? Shall we dig in? Do we want to dig in?
We're gonna dig in, okay? Yeah. Not this. So this mini challenge is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah. So it took me this show to realize that gabber culture or gabber culture, I don't know how you pronounce it in English, is apparently from the Netherlands.
Yeah. It originated from the 90s, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a moment, one that I don't subscribe to.
I remember this song specifically from being a kid. Like, it still haunts me to this day. But to give you a little bit of backside information.
Backside story. West Side Story.
Backroll story.
Backroll story.
So to give you a little bit more of a backstory, gabber is a term that used to be a slang word for friend, like, hey dude, hey gabber.
Hey, gabber, yeah.
It's basically a Dutch subculture and rave music culture.
Yeah.
That was very present during the 90s, and there were a lot of hakmuziek, that's what we call it.
Yeah.
That was very prevalent in the 90s.
Yeah.
We usually associated it with shaved bald heads, tracksuits, and of course, this dance style that you have been introduced to, if you didn't already know it.
Or as I would like to call it, white culture at its best.
Or worst, depending on how you look at it.
It was something, yeah.
Yeah, so the dance is called hakken, which in Dutch means either heels, plural, or to chop as a verb.
Yeah.
And it's unsure where it comes from because both could be the origin because you're chopping with your feet, but you're also mostly landing on your heels. So it could be either of those. But this is like, if you think about the rave dances that they did with this music, it's hakken. Like gabber, hakken, it's a good marriage.
Yeah. I always believed that it was because of the stomping on the floor.
Yeah.
That they used their hakken, their heels of the foot, to like do those dance moves. I thought that was the original meaning.
Yeah. But then we get an extra pun on this because hakken means heels, but also heels as in the shoes.
Yeah.
So this mini challenge is hakken op hakken.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
To hack on heels.
And also, like, the prize also really made sense to win a pair of heels. So 10 pairs of heels.
They get 10 pairs. Ivy won 10 pairs of shoes from Silhouette Rotterdam.
That's a good deal. Okay.
If there's one reason we go to Rotterdam, it's that store.
It's basically that store. Yeah.
We build day trips around it.
Oh, yeah.
To go there.
Yeah.
So
it's this shoe store that specifically sells shoes and heels for like bigger feet. Basically
they specialize in heels that you can't find anywhere else, or bigger sizes, but also like smack sizes. There are some like kinky boots.
Yeah,
I call them kinky boots.
They're like higher than the hairline of Fred.
Gay panic.
It's a really good deal.
Yeah,
and congratulations to Ivy.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, Tabitha really embodied the look.
Oh my god, yeah.
I was like, yes. I mean, she's probably the only one that really lived through the 90s and really enjoyed the culture to the max. But yeah.
I don't really have anything else to say.
So that was our episode. No.
Bye. What's this?
Homosexual. No, actually, this is a hetero relationship now.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I'm sorry that we have to come out as heterosexual.
We are deeply ashamed, and this is our apology video.
So let's just dig in right away into Snatch Game.
Yes!
So Elise Schaap and Carlo Bossard return, of course, because they are famously known from the TV Kantine, the program where they impersonate basically everyone that's on Dutch TV.
Yeah.
And Elise Schaap is, of course, well known to do Nikkie Plessen, which we talked about more often. And she's also very famous for doing Queen Maxima, or Queen, the Dutch Queen. And Carlo Bossard has had this program for 10 years now. So he's had some acting chops. Like Fred said, he kind of forgets sometimes who he is.
I bet that Elise Schaap upped her invoice rate when she did the mini impersonation of Maxima and Nikkie Plessen. Yeah. I can't really like mimic Maxima's voice, but she can do it so well. It's
like
uncanny.
Raspy and a little bit of the Southern American accent.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
So let's just go through all the queens one by one. And of course, if you don't want to talk about this queen, there's timestamps below.
Yes.
You can skip to whoever you want to see.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
Yes. So first up, let's talk about Masisi. She is a wreck.
Disgrace Jones.
Your Miss Jones was not graceful.
No, you can't say that. But it's true. So Masisi does Grace Jones. For the international characters, we're not going to give more information.
Yeah.
So let's just dig into what we thought about it.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I didn't learn anything new about this character because I only heard...
Yes. To the rhythm reference, basically, the whole thing.
It was... So there were 3 questions that we saw, and it was her answer to 4. Yeah. Because also the introduction was like, hey, can you sing a bit of your most famous song? And she sang that. So we got that reply 4 times.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
And it's such a shame because Masisi really looks like Grace Jones. And she can really like mimically, as in like the facial expressions.
Yeah.
It was spot on. It was a shame that she couldn't really incorporate this into a really funny Snatch Game.
Yeah. It's just very disappointing to see because we've had bad Snatch Games. Even on the next person we're going to talk about wasn't amazing, but at least they gave replies.
Yeah.
And by not even giving replies, you're taking away every opportunity that you have.
Yeah.
So, honestly, for me, this is it's the worst Snatch Game that I've seen.
Performance.
Just because there's no... I'm okay with jokes not landing. At least you're trying. But there were no jokes. There was nothing going on.
Yeah. And you can see that Fred really was trying to pull something out of Masisi and to really make, like, even what she gave to Fred funny with, like, the mimicking stuff.
That was the best part. Fred lip-syncing to Masisi's voice.
Yeah, but it just didn't work.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. I can also see that Masisi was really struggling through the whole challenge. She was like, I think, so in her head. And sad.
That's so upsetting.
So the next queen was Ivy-Elyse as Cardi B.
Yes. Also an international character. Oh, that was true. Okay.
No, that was my reaction to the character.
Oh my god. B.
The crickets aren't even laughing.
I mean, I'm sorry, but this did just not work. I feel like choosing Cardi B is in the same vein as choosing a Beyonce or a Lady Gaga. It's one of those music queens that you can't really make funny in a good way unless you really go for it. She didn't have the conviction with the quotes and the taglines that it worked.
Yeah.
And it was sad.
I kind of don't agree with you because I think Cardi B has more material to work with than, for instance, Beyonce or Lady Gaga.
True, but if there's no conviction in whatever you say...
Yeah, I agree with that. Because like Cardi B is such an explosive character. You have to like give it even more than she does, you know? Yeah. Like the whole, you need to really like go for it, you know? Like even take it further, like go like crazy and do a very long and then go like, I don't know.
Basically be Darian Lake impersonating Laganja and then you're on the right level. But basically that kind of,
yeah.
The next queen was Keta Minaj as Sophie from the Quack Destroyers. We gotta bleep so many things.
Yeah.
This, like, it's so Dutch for this Snatch Game to be so vulgar.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to bleep a lot of words and put them in very fake, badass spelling on the screen so you can identify what we're saying.
Or we can say, like, Croc Destroyers, as in, like, the shoes.
Croquette
destroyers. Spunk everywhere.
Actually, they're destroying male chickens. So the Quack Destroyers.
Yeah. The roosters.
Rooster Destroyers.
Rooster Destroyers.
So she was Sophie from the Rooster Boosters.
Yes.
And, well, she's also internationally known. There were good jokes in there. I thoroughly enjoyed it, despite it being an English-speaking character.
Yeah. She made it work.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed this one. However, and this is in the same vein for the last three queens we discussed, I don't get why you would pick a character that doesn't speak Dutch on a Dutch Snatch Game.
Yeah.
Because the questions are going to be in Dutch. Most of the characters are in Dutch. If you really want the back and forth that makes it fun, and if you want to be snappy and witty on the Dutch questions or the Dutch comments from other people, it doesn't work if you speak English.
Yeah.
I prefer to have also Louis XIV speak Dutch with a French accent, not English with a French accent.
Yeah.
Even Sophie Anderson, just do a British accent in Dutch.
Yeah. That'd be funny. That would be really funny. Yeah.
You should try to do that instead of speaking English because that takes away half of the chemistry at least.
Yeah. And otherwise you would maybe focus too much on like delivering the accent and delivering English.
Yeah.
Instead of like just be funny in Dutch.
Yeah.
So that's a tricky part as well. But I do have to say that Keta Minaj really made it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find it sad because this show is meant for Dutch audiences. Yeah. Like, this is a Drag Race made for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I know that it has international viewers, but it's not like people on Drag Race España stopped speaking Spanish the whole time, started singing in English the whole time. Yeah. It's not what we should be doing.
Yeah.
And I get that there's American viewers out there who are like, okay, yay, at least I understood one queen, but doesn't work for its intended purposes.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I agree.
We're back to agreeing.
We're back to agreeing. However, like last week, I would not have agreed with you fully. Yeah, I would not have agreed with you fully. So I'm glad that Lola did her thing.
Yes. So next up, we have Puny. Don't say puny on the body.
Yeah, I also...
You kept saying puny in the first episode and I corrected her, and then in the second episode I kept saying it.
My little puny's puny.
And then Lola had to correct me, so now we're like, Puny! So Puny was playing Marijke Helwegen. She is a very well-known media personality. Like, she's not famous from being an actress or singer. No, she's just in the news the whole time, and she's hilarious. She is such a lovely woman, such a sweet woman. We wanted to give some context, because if you see the Snatch Game, you're probably like, what? So she worked for many years in marketing for a plastic surgeon, and she has basically become one of the earliest examples of plastic surgery and Botox in this country. She's always been very upfront about it. In addition to that, what you have also noticed is that she suffers from an essential tremor. It's often misidentified as Parkinson's.
Yeah.
But basically it means that she has a rhythmic shake to her body, especially her neck, whenever she feels strong emotions. pigeons. And she's very excitable, so she tends to shake a lot, which is a characteristic that Puny really played on.
To be honest, I also did not know before we actually did our research. So it's really, it's a fun fact.
Is it fun?
No, it's not fun, but it's a great fact to know.
Yeah. And in addition to that, she's also a self-proclaimed pigeon expert. She really loves pigeons, and she's in the news. Well, not anymore, but she used to be in the news a lot for impersonating pigeons and really fighting for their quality of life because, of course, they're always in this city and they've been called winged rats. And she's like, they're beautiful animals. We shouldn't treat them that way. It's the humans that are rotten, not the winged creatures.
I mean, hey, she got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wholesome. She's such a wholesome character. Woman, Love it.
She's really such a sweet lady, and she really doesn't give a shit about a lot of things, and that's what makes her such an impersonatable character.
Yes. I also love that Puny shared that to us. Like, I love the fact that she doesn't give a flying basically.
Yeah.
That's a really great motivation to do a character, because then it's just out of respect.
It's honoring a character more than mocking a character.
Exactly,
And that should always be the goal.
Yeah. And Puny did such a great job introducing the character, because I was also not fully aware of Marijke, but now I really got a sense of who she is.
Yeah.
By her performance. It was really good.
And it was very much larger than life. Yes. Like the pigeon thing, the shaking thing, she really emphasized those. And you're like, oh yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
She really did a good job. Yes. I really thought she would have been in the top, if not one of the winners. Mm-hmm. But like, congrats Puny. This was a really good Snatch Game.
This was super good. And she was so committed the whole time. She was just on character. It was so good. I mean, mama, good job.
Then next up, we have the Countess as Louis XIV, so
the 14th.
Louis XIV, Lodewijk XIV.
Lodewijk. We do, like, it's our official term to call him Lodewijk, right?
Yeah, so the thing is, in Europe at least, with historical kings, we translate their names into our version of the name.
Yeah.
If you would have, like, King Ferdinand, we would call him King Ferdinand, but in Spain they would call him King Fernando.
Or like Charles would be Karel.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, yes, Charlemagne is a great example. Yeah. We call him Karel de Grote. Yeah. I think in German it's Karel de Grosse.
Yeah.
We translate those historic names, not for present kings, but for historic kings and queens as well.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fun, interesting choice. Had no idea where she would take this. It's, of course, a fun idea to choose the Sun King, because he's very important for Dutch history as well. Like, he was very present in the war between the French and the Spaniards for ruling over the Netherlands, where I think the country split up in North and South, basically along the lines that it was now Netherlands and Belgium.
Yeah.
He's also very known for expanding Versailles, because it was basically just a small building when his dad built it, but he really made it what it is today.
Like the Chateau Versailles that it is not right now.
I still want to visit.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I've been there. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really huge.
But I like her thinking outside of her box and really going for an historic figure. I didn't think she was bad.
No, yeah.
But I was very much confused why she spoke English with a French accent instead of Dutch with a French accent.
Yeah.
And that took away half of the charm for me.
Yeah.
And I think if she had done it in Dutch with a French accent, it would have worked.
Yeah. To me, her interpretation was more so almost like a stereotype of a French guy. And then nothing else. That just isn't enough, especially if you really are particular with the Sun King.
Yeah.
You need to throw in some more references. That's my opinion.
She could have pushed it way further than what she did now.
But I would like to commend her for really trying. It was such a push for her to go to this level.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Countess. And don't you ever think that you are not funny. You're hilarious.
You're the narrator of the season.
You are the confessional queen, okay? Oh, don't you dare.
Mm-hmm.
As if she's gonna watch this video.
Then next up we have Vivaldi as Nikkie Plessen.
Nikkie Plessen.
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah.
You.
I thought this was a daring choice.
Ooh, yeah.
In front of Fred, her best friend, and literally the person that got famous from impersonating Nikkie Plessen. So, Nikkie Plessen, we of course know from being the judge from last season. She has her own clothing store, her own fashion line.
Yeah. Also, makeup brand, which we'll talk about in just a second.
Will we?
No.
We won't.
That's our statement.
I want to keep it as short as possible about this woman. She recently appeared on the quote top 100 of youngest millionaires in the country, and apparently she has gone unscathed by the Panini because she's still worth 28 million euros, which is what Vivaldi kept saying, like 28 miljoen, blah blah blah.
Ibiza.
Quote 500.
Yeah.
What did I think? I wasn't into this.
Same.
I missed the conviction in everything she said. It felt very staccato, like blah, blah, blah. And it's almost like they edited out breaks in her sentence. Like she paused there. And especially with having Elise Schaap there, who is so good with just the word like, she was better at doing Nikkie than Vivaldi for me. And it felt like she was doing an impersonation of Elise Schaap's impersonation.
Yes. And that I really do have a problem with, to be honest, because to me, like, that's also kind of cheating a little bit. Well, not cheating. She is being smart about, like, okay, maybe Snatch Game is not really my forte, so I'm going to do a very easy character that has been done before. But then it's the inevitable thing that we're going to compare your Snatch Game to, like, Elise Schaap's impersonation.
Yeah.
And then, to me, it really falls flat.
I don't know how it is for you as international viewers, of course, but for us Dutch people, knowing Elise Schaap's impersonation, it's one of the most famous impersonations we have of anyone in this country at the moment. And knowing that, and then someone doing that impersonation instead of finding a new angle on Nikkie Plessen, that felt derivative to me. And I was
missing that. Really like a new perspective. It
didn't feel like Vivaldi doing Nikkie Plessen. It was Vivaldi doing Elise Schaap doing Nikkie Plessen.
Yeah. There was at one point where the subtitles were saying like in a robotic voice. I'm like, why not do her as like a robot, you know? Like
malfunctioning, like blah,
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 blah, blah, blah, blah. Kind of like Gigi Good. Why not?
There should have been a new angle.
That would have been perfect, I think. So that was a missed opportunity for me. I also thought that it was safe at best.
Yeah. And then next up, we have Vanessa as Queen Mathilde. Le Belgique. So, as Dutch people, I have to admit that we know nothing about the Belgian kings and queens.
We are sorry.
No, I'm not, because I always find it too much to keep up with our royal house.
True, yeah.
So I had no idea who Queen Mathilde was, so we were going in fresh, basically. I think just as anyone who's not from Belgium.
Almost as fresh as Vanessa.
Someone's bitter. I liked the introduction where Fred was like, aren't you a bit like a... Oh, that's the word that we need to explain. There was a word joke in there. The reply from Vanessa was, ik ben zeker truttig, maar Maxima is een echte trut. And so basically, trut is the Dutch word for...
Max.
But the word truttig means like very dainty, very stuck up, like stick up your...
And also a bit boring, you know?
Yeah. So there was a word pun in there. So she's like, but I'm truttig, but she's a trut. And Maxima is, of course, the Dutch queen. So there's this national rivalry between those. So I thought that was fun. But otherwise, we were going in as fresh as ever. But I did like it. Like, even though there was not a lot of energy, I did feel like she tried on most answers. And it definitely wasn't the worst of the bunch for me.
It wasn't the worst, but also with this one, I still haven't really gotten a sense of who she is after the Snatch Game.
I get that.
I mean, it's a
very old lady.
Yeah, but I need more than that. True. And then maybe it comes down to maybe she wasn't a really good Snatch Game character to begin with.
Could be.
But yeah, it was a bit lacking for me. I needed more. Okay. Hungry. I haven't eaten.
So next up, we had Tabitha as Kim Holland. When she said she was doing Kim Holland, I was like, yes.
Perfect.
Yes. If anyone.
Yeah, perfect choice.
So we're gonna have to bleep a lot of words in the next description because unfortunately YouTube is not as free thinking as the Netherlands is on their TV stations. Kim Holland is a famous star from I think The Hague, that area at least. That's what she's known for. When I think back about knowing her when I was a kid, I knew who she was and I knew what she did.
As a kid?
Yeah, I knew of her. Thinking back, I'm like, wow, I was aware of a Dutch star and she was on on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Don't you just love that? That's like liberal thinking. But basically, she has always been an advocate of empowering women in their life and also liberation.
Yeah.
We gotta spell that with GZ.
Sigs.
I was very happy to know this. This is a character you can really stereotype. Also, I have to say though, Kim Holland is a character that they have done on the TV Cantina for many, many years. She has been a staple of Carlo's show, always played by Irene Moors, and she does it so perfectly. They even had Irene Moors impersonating Kim Holland and Kim Holland herself on the show at the same time. So I was falling to the same trap as Vivaldi actually did, but I really think she knocked it out of the park. This was my favorite of the Snatch Game.
Yeah.
Very like really vulgar jokes, very on point. The accent, like I just love that because they have the not a day. It's like, we call it a wet tea.
The wet tea.
And like with their entrance, she was like, oh, ik ben zo opgevonden. Ik heb al hyperventilatie.
Hyperventilatie.
Which was like a mispronunciation of hyperventilating. And it was hilarious. I just love that. I was like, okay, we're set. This is going to be a good Snatch Game.
Yes. She really chose a character that really resembles Tabitha as well.
She's playing on her strengths.
Yeah. It's smart. Really smart.
I think this was my favorite. I really expected her to win.
She made me laugh. Like, all the jokes landed.
Everything she said was hilarious.
She was in an airport.
Everything's landing. And also, I'm departing. So now, let's dig into every single question that was asked so we can take the fun out of everything and explain every joke to you. So the first question was, there is a rumor there will be a gay edition of Football Inside.
Yeah.
What will it be called? And basically, Football Inside is this talk show after the fact when a match happened where they discuss soccer and whatever.
Which we are obsessed with, by the way. Like, we love to talk about, like...
Dutch people, not us too.
Yeah. In general. In general, the Netherlands love to talk about another show within a show.
Yeah, we're a bureaucracy like that. Yeah. We just like to discuss.
Share our opinions, even though we didn't really ask for them.
Literally.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing on YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Carlo's answer was, come that shot. Which I did not get.
No, it was just vulgar.
Puny replied with the Dutch translation of any hole is a goal, which we love, of course. And then Mathilde, the Queen of Belgium, replied with speel met mijn ballen, which means play with my balls.
Yeah.
It didn't really land for me. And then she made the joke, that's what I do with my husband Philippe a lot, and I think he's gay. That was basically what it came down to. Didn't get the reference. Perhaps maybe people in Belgium can explain this to us. Like,
we need the Belgian Housewives for this one.
Yeah, the Belgian Housewives.
Yeah, please.
And then Kim Holland replies with stront aan de knikkert. I screamed. So knikker, it's a word for a marble, like the ones you play with.
Yeah.
It's also an old Dutch word for head, and then especially for a bald, shiny head. That's also where the glass marbles are named after.
Yeah.
But it's also, the head of the shaft.
Yeah, how is your head?
And then she adds the wet tea after it. So the knikkert. Stront aan de knikkert. Yeah.
Nice.
So, on the stick.
Yeah.
On your stick.
On
like your
stick. You need to clean it, okay?
Yeah, so that's like a vulgar gay joke.
Yeah.
Then the next question was, Queen Maxima was cancelled because she was doing what in her palace? So Elise's answer was hilarious. She did her Maxima impersonation voice. So the literal translation is she was vacuuming. Our word for vacuuming is stofzuigen, and that literally means dust sucking.
Dust sucking, yeah.
Because you're sucking up the dust. So she made it vulgar by saying dust sucking with the emphasis on sucking.
Stofzuigen.
Ja. Stofzuigen met de nadruk op zuigen.
Yeah.
Nikkie Plessen replies she wasn't wearing any Nikkie fashion because she has the clothing brand. Didn't laugh. Marijke Helwegen says, ik neem een likje duif. What was it?
Was that an actual response though?
No,
she just did something. She had to write something down, and then Fred was like, what are you gonna write down? And then she was like...
Yeah, she was like, I take a lick of the poop, and then my skin is tight.
Yeah, and that rhymes.
And it rhymed in Dutch. Yeah, that was funny. Then...
What?
Kim.
Okay.
Kim replies with... Ze heeft de krokante onderbroeken van Willem-Alexander verbrand. The full context. Willem-Alexander is our king, so Maxima is his wife. And she said that she burned his crispy underwear. And then everyone was laughing, like, what do you mean with crispy? And she was like, you know, with the smell. I don't know, I don't wear underwear.
I think that was my favorite response of everything. Crispy underwear.
Yeah.
I really hate you, Tabitha.
Yeah. Queen of Belgium replied that Willem-Alexander had Prins Albert. From her explanation, I'm guessing it's the BJ.
Oh.
Prince Albert. Because she's like, usually it's for a big flute, but I think his is...
small.
Yeah, again, the rivalry between the Belgian royal house and the Dutch royal house. But we didn't know that term either. And then the last of the three questions, I think this was my favorite one.
My favorite,
It mocks Fred, and I love a good mocking Fred moment, as you have known.
And it looked like Fred wasn't even aware of this question, because he was like...
he was like, Fred van Leeuwen.
Love it,
I love a little bit of stunt, though.
Yeah.
But basically the question was, Fred van Leeuwen wrote an autobiography, and it's called Deep Inside, I Feel Like a... ... Marijke van Helwegen answers with, ik voel mij van binnen 80, maar ik ben prachtig. Which again rhymes, so that's kind of like her thing with all her replies. It means from the deep inside, I feel 80 years old, but I'm still beautiful.
Yes. Also, if you want to learn like a Dutch tongue twister, it's 88 prachtige grachten, which has those two words in it. Just a fun fact.
Okay. I have a Frisian tongue twister for you then as well. 14 ljouwet stridsdienstjes.
14?
14.
Yeah, 14.
14 ljouwerte.
Ljouwerte.
So that means from the city of Leeuwarden.
Yeah.
Stridsdienstjes.
Stridsdienstjes. That last word is already a tongue twister, mama.
Stridsdienstjes.
I can't.
It means like cobblestones. Literally means street stones. Little street stones.
There's 14 street stones
from Leeuwarden.
From Leeuwarden.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 88 prachtige grachten means 88 beautiful graphs. Wait, what was the grachten again?
Canals.
Grafts. Giraffe.
And then next up, we have Louis XIV.
Yeah.
And their reply is trottoir prostituée. Which I like, because we have those words in Dutch as well. It means like...
Straathoer.
I mean, we can say it in Dutch.
Yeah, straathoer.
So basically it means like a lady of the night or the corner of the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Around the corner.
Corner. So next up we have Sophie Anderson. When she replied, I had no idea where this was going to go. Because she said, dirty pig. And then started talking about, I loved your video. And that is, of course, a reference to the leaked video that happened last year.
Which we talked about, yeah.
Which we talked about because it got an entire backlash. And Fred really went through a dark time in that phase. And all of the queens were there to support him. And we all retweeted #TeamFred.
Yeah.
But that was a big happening. So when she referenced that, I was like, ooh. Either Fred is going to hate this or can laugh about himself. And luckily, it was the latter.
Or maybe both.
Really crying on the inside, laughing on the outside. But I was like, oh, she went there.
It shows that Fred is a strong person, that he can really like laugh at that.
Yeah. Love that. Vivaldi answers with like a Loubou, like a Louboutin. Prachtig om naar te kijken, maar het loopt ontzettend kut. Which is also kind of a double pun, because basically the translation is, it's beautiful to look at, but it's a pain to walk in.
Yeah. And then referencing, of course, to Louboutin shoes. Yeah.
But het loopt ontzettend kut can also mean things aren't going as they should. Like, everything's going bad. Everything's going to
Yeah.
That's a double pun there, but it didn't land for me. But
yeah, I think it was one of the better jokes that Vivaldi said. But still, maybe the delivery also. Like, I needed conviction for this in order for this joke to work.
Yeah. Kim Holland replies with, je bent een lawaai-papegaai, which means you're a loud parrot. The joke that follows, I've heard this joke before many times when I was young, and it was always to make fun of gays.
Yeah.
So I love that she took that joke and reclaimed it for a gay show as a gay person. Basically the joke was, stront op je stok is zaad in je bek. which literally means shit on your stick. Stick being a euphemism for something phallical. And then also seed in your beak, making a very sexual joke out of a parrot. That eats seed and sits on a stick in their cage. We're taking all the fun out of the joke, so you're welcome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this vulgar Snatch Game. It's in essence a very good snatch. Oh.
I'm gonna green screen something here.
My teeth.
What?
Let's continue to the runway. And this was a delicious runway with a
spicy monsters.
Spicy, dicey, a little bit icy.
Oh.
So our guest judge panel member is Buddy Vedder.
Buddy Vedder.
And Buddy Vedder, he's a pretty well-known actor. He starred on this annual musical play kind of thing. I haven't seen it myself. Called The Christmas Show, and Fred was on it with Carlo Bolsart in 2018, where Fred was the first male who played a female character on the show. Let's go to the looks.
Yeah.
This runway.
All the stunts were pulled, mama. It was good.
I'm dead.
It was so, like, monster meets couture as well.
Yeah.
What?
So the runway theme was a monster going to a monster ball. Yes. So basically wearing something fancy, but dressed as a monster.
Yeah.
And everyone pulled the stops.
Yeah. I
So our critiques are going to be very nitpicky.
Yeah.
But we're, of course, going to discuss our top 2 and bottom 2 looks.
Yes. So who are your favorite looks?
I'm torn. I really loved the Countess because that was just high fashion. That was so good. It was flowy, it was elegant, and still very much an interpretation of Beetlejuice. I gotta say, my second favorite look would be Masisi.
Ah, the gremlin?
Yeah, I mean, no, but sorry. Like I said, every look was great.
Yeah.
But like the work that went into that face mask, it was meticulous. And I loved the dress and how it moved. And that was a little tacky with the tiger print or the panther print. I don't know which animal it was. I just loved it. And like every moment she was on screen, it had me screaming.
Yeah.
Because it looked so good, but also so funny.
Yeah.
And that's what I imagined with a monster ball. Like a monster wearing a gown.
Yeah.
Let's go.
She went there.
She went there, and I really loved it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say my favorite look is, I think, Countess. Yeah. I just said, like, it was just so couture, and it was just so polished, and it literally took my breath away. I was like, oh my god. What? And my second favorite, and I think it was a bit underrated, in my opinion, at least, it was Puny. That headpiece was beautiful. It was just art. It was just like creature design.
It.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's so weird. And I think they hated the combination of like her dress and the yellow headpiece. But I was
black and
loving it.
yellow is a classic combination.
Exactly, and pink can really go well with it.
Yeah.
It just felt like actual high-end creature design.
And also, it was a perfect blend between the couture and the monster.
Yes, it was art. That needs to be said, okay?
Yeah.
These judges are so sleeping
They're sleeping on her.
I mean, like, they're really treating her as a sleeping pill. They're sleeping on her. This is a stan account for Puny. And not only because she gave us 12 points. Okay, 12 points.
So what were your 2 least favorite looks, if any?
I can't say 2, to be honest.
Say 1.
Say 1, okay. Then maybe I would have to say Tabitha. And only for one reason. It's because of like the area of her neck that's not covered. But I do believe that she has posted that look on her Instagram. And with like a fully realized character, already like so much better without like the
without the bare neck.
Without the bare neck.
Yeah, because as soon as she filled that in on the picture, it looks right.
Yeah,
and it looks like a monster going to a ball. It's not the kind of drag we expect from her, and that's what I like, that she really gave it her all.
Yeah. It was so good.
Yeah. I have to agree that was one of my 2 bottoms, solely for that reason. I mean, we have to be nitpicky if they're all so good. And I would say my second least favorite would be Vivaldi. for a very different reason.
Yeah.
Basically, for me, she didn't hit the brief. It was a monster going to a ball. And she was the only one that, to me, did not incorporate a aspect of glam. She was just wearing a bodysuit, which made it feel more like her promo look than a monster going to a ball.
Yeah.
I think she got the monster aspect right, but the ball aspect was missing.
Yeah.
That I think all of the other queens did better.
I also kind of had that as a critique, that it really resembles her promo shot.
Yeah.
A little bit too much. It's still a gorgeous look. As a standalone look, perfect. Beautiful.
Like, my only critique is that for me, it didn't hit the mark of the assignment.
Yeah.
Then Vivaldi and Keta are announced as the winners of the challenge.
Yeah, were you expecting that?
No,
me neither.
So I saw a scenario. I was like, okay, these queens are good. I'm expecting 2 winners.
Yeah.
And I was expecting either Keta, Puny, and Tabitha.
Yeah.
Those were the top 3 for me that really killed the game.
Yeah.
I did not expect Vivaldi, especially as the first one called out when I thought she was the sole winner of the...
Yeah, I was... Whoa.
I really felt like Kim Holland and Marijke Helwegen were just executed better. At least from what we saw in the editing. But then if that's not true what happened in real life, I'm like, why didn't you edit it in a way that we believed that she was the best?
Yeah. What do you guys agree? Like, we, of course, have our own opinions. I am really curious to your opinions about the Snatch Game. Also from, like, an international perspective as well.
Yes. So if you're Dutch, do you agree who was the best character? And if you're international, how did this Snatch Game come across for you, and who came across as the most fun to you?
Yeah.
Then we have Masisi and Ivy lip sync, and unfortunately Masisi is sent home.
Yes.
First of all, the lip sync, it was hilarious. I know it's a serious business, but I was laughing the whole time. I was just focusing on Masisi and her face mask, singing one of my favorite songs. But it was just so hilarious.
Who made that call? Okay, who made that call?
Who did it? Because I want to thank them. Just doing a serious lip sync with those face masks, it was just hilarious.
Oh my
and it
God.
was what I needed to make this week complete. That was so much fun. But unfortunately, Masisi was eliminated.
Yeah.
But that's already it for this episode.
Yes.
Next week, we'll have...
The musical challenge.
The Rusical.
The Rusical.
Already. So I'm excited. They're really not playing this season. And I'm so excited for this. And of course, we'll be back next season.
Next season.
We're
done.
We're done.
Yep. We're done. Bye.
Bye. We'll, of course, be back next week with our review of the Rusical episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching. And I hope we'll see you back again then.
Yes.
Until then, drink loads of water.
Which we didn't do because it's empty, okay?
Mine's not.
Mine is empty. I need to refill after this thing.
Okay, bye!
Bye! Oh. Our neighbors are complaining. Probably.
Because we're not singing loud enough.
Yeah, I know. They're saying, like, if you are gonna sing, use autotune.